pole all the way from Dover, Florida. You saw him pick the number 1 spot. He is Maverick Varnador in the number 4. He's everybody's favorite, including Kim's. He's all the way from Imperial, Missouri. The Herminator himself, Kenny Wallace in 36. He is the owner of Beak Built Chassis from Sherrills Ford, North Carolina. That's the 00D of David Rudiman. Alongside of him from Apollo Beach, that's the 33 of Jeff Matthews. Cameron, Wisconsin's Kevin Adams in the 40 will start in the inside of row 3, and alongside of him, Zanesville, Ohio's Brad Goff in the 41 outside row 3. Inside row 3, Panama City's Todd Nyheiser in the 72, and alongside of him from Surgeonsville, Tennessee, that's going to be the 98 of Sean Flannery. Plant City's Dale Kelly in the 22 will start to the inside of row 5, and alongside of him from Paris, Tennessee, that's going to be Lucas Lee in the 12L. Newton, Iowa's Mike Van Genderen in the 57V will start to the inside of row 6, and alongside of him from Cameron, Wisconsin, will be the 1M of Kurt Myers. Ray Bollinger will start to the inside of row 7 in the 12B. He's from Kewanee, Illinois, and alongside of him from Plant City, Florida, it's going to be the 15 of Roger Krause. Travis Varnador in the 205 will start to be inside of row 8. He's from Dover, and alongside of him from Findlay, Tennessee, will be the 29 of Preston Surratt. Flying Brian Bernhardt out of Clearwater in the B69 will start in the 9th spot, or inside row 9. Alongside of him will be Tyler Nicely out of Owensboro, Kentucky in the 25. To the inside of row 10, Apollo Beach's Devin Dixon in the number 2 will start in the inside of row 10. Alongside of him will be Peoria, Illinois' Alan Weiser in the 25. Well, race fans, if you look over there in turn 3, they are getting ready to send you off. Race fans, everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. Wave your hat. Wave your kid. Wave your purse. Wave something at them as they get ready to battle for 75 laps. The final night for the Sunshine State Mod Tour here at East Bay Raceway Park. The 41st Annual Winter Nationals. Let them know you're ready to watch them race. Woo! That's a lot. Starting inside row of 11, it's going to be the 96C of Chad Williamson's out of Waterton, South Dakota. Mike Petoskey in the 20M out of Guys Mill, Pennsylvania will start to the inside of row 11. Inside row 12 is going to be Gary Bentley out of St. Charles, Missouri in the A1. Alongside of him is going to be Buzzy Rudiman in the 00D, if I just slow down a bit, out of Zephyr Hills. And the 13th row gets a provisional, the 14C. That's going to be Rick Canoyers out of St. Peters, Missouri. Well, we hope all you race fans have enjoyed tonight's action. Sit back or sit on the edge of your seat because it's going to get wild. It's going to be fast. It's going to be furious. 75 laps. Ladies, Kenny Wallace. Here is your front 2, side by side. Rockin' Ronnie looks over the field. Here we go. Green flag. We're underway. As they come out of turn number 2, jumping to the early lead, it's Kenny Wallace out front, followed by Maverick Varnador, Jeff Matthews, David Rudiman, Brad Goff. That's your top 5, followed by Adams. Kenny Wallace now has Jeff Matthews. Jeff Matthews, last night's feature winner. Jeff from Apollo Beach at the line. Jeff Matthews with the lead. Jeff now going to slide up in front of Kenny Wallace. Jeff Matthews, your leader out of 2. Jeff Matthews out in front in that Lethal Weapon race car. It is Jeff Matthews, Kenny Wallace, Maverick Varnador, Kevin Adams, David Rudiman, your top 5, followed by Brett Goff. Dale Kelly on the back bumper of Goff as they head into turn number 2. Right now, it's Jeff Matthews starting to open up the advantage over Kenny Wallace. Wallace hanging on to second at the line. 2.2 second lead over Kenny Wallace. Buzzy Adams now going to battle with Varnador out of turn number 2. Varnador with the advantage hangs on to third. Adams fourth, followed by Rudiman. That's your top 5. Jeff Matthews has a straightaway lead over your second place runner, Kenny Wallace. Wallace now starting to feel the pressure from Adams and Varnador out of turn number 2. Meanwhile, it's David Rudiman hanging on to the 5th spot. They've got a long way to go. Just 7 laps in, 68 to go. Remember, they'll make a pit fuel stop on lap 35. Varnador and Adams battling side by side into turn number 1. Jeff clearly on the move. Man, that car is a rocket right now. Almost a 4-second advantage over Kenny Wallace. Jeff crosses the start-finish line. His advantage over Kenny Wallace is a 4.3-second advantage. Wallace now has Adams on his back bumper as they come out of turn number 2. Adams up to 3rd, Varnador back to 4th, followed by Rudiman. That's your top 5. Sean Flannery hanging on to the 6th spot, followed in 7th is Todd Neuheiser. 8th is Brad Goff, followed by Mike Van Genderen and Dale Kelly. That's your top 10. Adams to the inside of Wallace. Can't make that move stick. He's going to fall back to the 3rd position once again. Jeff Matthews starting to come up on the lap traffic now. He's got Gary Bentley in front of him. Bentley out of St. Charles, Missouri. 11 in. And here comes Matthew across the start-finish line. The rest of the field coming out of turn number 4. It's Wallace, Adams, Varnador, and Rudiman. Again, that's still your top 5. 12 laps in. 12 laps in. Matthews gets around the A1 of Gary Bentley. Next car in front of him is going to be the 25W of Alan Weiser. Alan Weiser out of Peoria, Illinois. Jeff Matthews picks his line through 3. Now out of turn number 4. Looks like he's going to go to the high side. Weiser slides up. Weiser getting the move over a flag. Wallace, Adams, Varnador, Rudiman, your top 5. Jeff now goes to the outside of Alan Weiser out of turn number 4. Weiser going to have to stay to the bottom as Matthews clearly gets by him into turn number 1. Jeff beginning to open up his lead, a 5.4 second lead over second place Kenny Wallace. That's just about a complete straightaway here at East Bay Raceway Park. Matthews crosses the start-finish line. Here comes Wallace out of turn number 2. Then you got Adams, Varnador, and Rudiman. They still remain the top 5. Again, in the 6th spot is Todd Neuheiser. 7th is Flannery. 8th is Van Genderen. 9th is Kelly. Brad Goff is in the 10th spot. Ray Bollinger currently showed in the 12th spot, followed by Lucas Lee, Travis Varnador, Kurt Myers, and Brian Bernhardt holding on to 15th. 16th is Roger Krause, followed by Devin Dixon, Tyler Nicely, Preston Surratt, and Mike Potosky. That rounds out your top 20. In the 21st spot is Chad Williamson, followed by Buzzy Rudiman. And Rudiman about to go a lap down. On the backstretch as they head into turn number 3, Rudiman to the high side. Matthews looks to the inside. Rudiman going to go a lap down now as Matthew clears him coming out of turn number 4. Your leader into turn number 1. Here comes second place Kenny Wallace. Wallace starting to open up his advantage. Wallace with a 1.4 second advantage over Kevin Adams. Then you got Rudiman up to 4th now. Here comes Van Genderen. Van Genderen to the inside of Rudiman. Rudiman going a couple spots now as Neuheiser and Van Genderen get by him. Varnador goes back a position. Looks like Rudy falling back some positions here now in the early part of this race. 20 down, now 21 down. As your leader crosses the start-finish line, he's now out of turn number 2. Matthews still has almost a 6-second advantage over second place Kenny Wallace. Matthews crosses the start-finish line on this front straightaway. Wallace in the middle of 3 and 4 now makes his way out of turn number 4. Wallace hanging on to second, followed by Adams, Neuheiser, and Varnador. Varnador finds his way back up to the 5th spot as he's got Mike Van Genderen on his back bumper as they come out of turn number 2. Followed by Van Genderen is Rudeman. And then you got Plant City's Dale Kelly. Kelly hanging on to the 9th spot. Officially on the clock, it is 9th. Then you got Lucas Lee. Your leader once again coming out of turn number 4. Kenny Wallace currently in the 2nd spot, right there in the middle of 3 and 4, makes his way through the front straightaway, followed by Adams, Nyheiser, and Maverick Varnador. Varnador started on the pole, now finds himself in the 5th spot. This time by, it's 25 down. 25 down, 50 to go for your leader, Jeff Matthews. Kenny, hang on. We're 1/3 of the way through the race. Matthews slips just a little bit through turns 3 and 4. Core bobbled just a little bit, but he's able to hang on to it as he makes his way through turns 1 and 2. He's got Chad Williamson in front of him. He's looking to put Chad Williams a lap down, and also Preston Surratt up there as well. Surratt in the 29 out of Findlay, Tennessee. This time by, Kenny crosses the start-finish line. Let's see what the lap advantage is. Almost 7 seconds. Almost 7-second advantage. As again, they will go under caution. They'll do the halfway stop on lap 35. They'll stop over there in turns 1 and 2. They can get fuel and tear-offs only. If they elect to get a tire, they have to go to the pits and start in the back of the pack or on the tail end of the lead lap. Wallace crossing the start-finish line. He's got Adams, Nyheiser, Rudeman. Rudeman back up to 5th now. Meanwhile, here comes your leader out of turn number 4. Jeff Matthews clearly on the move. Jeff Matthews, it looks like he's got a great car tonight. As he goes into turn number 1, Matthews again picked up the win last night, set fast time last night, and picked up a win. Jeff Matthews, a former champion in the late models and open wheel modified ranks here at East Bay Raceway Park. Matthews this time by. Let's see what we have here as we got caution out, caution out. Over there in turns 1 and 2. Kelly was part of the caution. Here we go. Kenny Wallace took a look to the inside, but here comes Adams. Adams to the inside now of Wallace as they go into turn number 3. Matthews out front by himself. Nyheiser getting ready to go by. He does. He goes by Wallace on the front straightaway. Nyheiser now up to 2nd, gets by Adams. Jeff Matthews, and Todd Nyheiser loses it over there in 3 and 4, but he's going to keep going. Nyheiser loses about 6 positions on that spin. Meanwhile, back up front, it's Matthews all by himself, starting to pull away from the field once again. It is Kevin Adams in 2nd right now. He's battling with Kenny Wallace as they come out of turn number 4. Adams, Wallace, here comes Van Genderen. Van Genderen with a good run out of turn number 4. Mike Van Genderen, no stranger here to victory lane as he's right behind the 40 of Kevin Adams as they go down to turn number 3. Wallace shoots to the inside. Van Genderen right on the back bumper. Now Adams shoots down to the bottom as he goes by Wallace. Matthews with the advantage in turn number 3. It's Adams, Van Genderen, Wallace all battling for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Look at him go almost 3 wide coming out of turn number 4. Here comes David Rudeman. Rudeman hanging on to the 5th spot. And caution out, caution out. This is lap 35. right, race fans, this is going to be your competition yellow now. Competition yellow on lap 35. Again, the rules are they can only take tear-offs and fuel. If they decide to change a tire, they have to go into the pits, change their tire, and they have to fall to the tail end of the lead lap. I believe there's only a few cars down by himself. Again, sitting in the second spot, that is the one and only Kevin Adams. Adams is your points leader and the defending champion for the Sunshine State Mod Tour. Rockin' Ronnie looks over the field. Race fans, here we go. We're going to go back to green flag action. Here we go. Here comes Van Genderen. Van Genderen looked to make a move to the inside. Couldn't make that move stick, but now he's going to go down the backstretch into 3. Van Genderen in the third spot. Adams up to the high side. Matthews out front by himself as they get ready to cross the start-finish lines. It's Matthews, Van Genderen, Adams, Rudeman, and Wallace, your top 5. Matthews coming out of turn number 3. He's got Van Genderen and Adams trying to reel him in. Matthews been pretty strong all night long. Jeff Matthews took out of the lead on lap number 2. Again, he had almost... Oh, we got problems. And out of turn number 4, Neuheiser goes around. Rudeman as well. Surratt spun to avoid. And I believe Bollinger spun to avoid as well. But unfortunately for Neuheiser, spun. Now that's going to wheel stop. 38 to go. Who's going to be the big $5,000 winner? Rock and Ronnie looks over the field. Here we go. Back to green flag action. It's Matthews on the move. Kenny Wallace kind of got shuffled back there on the start, but makes his way back up. Oh, and one going around over in turn number 2. That's Sean Flannery. Flannery digging back in, and he's going to keep it going. This time by, we're going to get the halfway signal. Halfway down, it's Matthews. Here comes Adams. Kevin Adams on the move, going to try and reel him in. Now here comes David Rudeman. Rudeman up to the 4 spot. As well as Maverick Varnador going to battle with Rudeman as they head into 3. Varnador to the high side, Rudeman to the low side. That's for 4th and 5th. Kenny back there in 6th. Jeff Matthews up front out of turn number 2. Kevin Adams holding on to 2nd. Van Genderen in 3rd. That's your top 3 as they head into turn number 3. Adams shoots up high and then flies down to the bottom. Shoots his way up to the middle of the track through turns 1 and 2. Here comes Van Genderen. Looks like just about Adams, just about diamond in the track. As you see, watch him over there in turn number 3. He shoots up high and then he slings it down. This time not doing it this time by. He dared it on the current last 2 laps. Trying to find some traction on the track. So we end lap 41, 42 next time by. Matthews continues to hold on to the lead. Jeff Matthews with a 1.055 lead over 2nd place Kevin Adams. And Adams starting to open up his advantage over 3rd place Mike Van Genderen. Genderen right there hanging on to 3rd. David Rudeman currently hanging on to the 4th spot. And here comes Maverick Varnador. Again, Maverick started on the pole, finds himself sitting in the 5th spot as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. Here comes the 12 car. This is Lucas Lee. Lucas Lee going to battle with Varnador as they head into turn number 3. Wallace right behind those 2 guys. Here comes Buzzy Adams. Adams, oh, it looks like they might get together there. Adams jumps out to the lead now on lap 45. Adams up front now. These 2 guys battled hard last night. They were side by side battling for the lead coming out of turn number 4. Looks like they almost changed positions where they did last night, but it's now your new leader on lap 46. Kevin Buzzy Adams shoots up to the high side. Matthews going to follow him out of turn number 2. Rudeman now, David Rudeman up to the 3rd spot as Van Genderen slides back to 4th. Lucas Lee hanging on to 5th now. Sliding back a couple positions is Maverick Vornador, Kenny Wallace. Bollinger coming up a couple spots. Bollinger looks like he's in the 6th spot now. Teammates in the 12, Lucas Lee and Ray Bollinger currently sitting in 5th and 6th. In the 7th spot, it is Maverick Vornador. Currently in the 8th spot is the Herminator, Kenny Wallace. Kurt Myers holding on to 9th, followed by Devin Dixon. Dixon in the 10th spot. Your leader down the backstretch in 40, Kevin Adams holds on. He's got lap cars in front of him as they make their way through turns 3 and 4. Adams has Mike Petoskey out of Guys Mills, Pennsylvania in front of him. He's going to be the first car to go a lap down, courtesy of Kevin Adams. Meanwhile, Matthews starting to reel him in as they go down the backstretch. Adams shoots to the high side. Watch Matthews go to the low side. Here they come out of turn number 4. Matthews starting to gain some ground, and now Matthews has to watch out for the 22. Dale Kelly almost slides in front of the second place runner, Jeff Matthews, as Petoskey and Kelly go a lap down, courtesy of those front 2 drivers, Adams and Matthews. Kevin Adams up to the high side as he makes his way out to the front straightaway down to turn number 1. And here comes your 3rd place runner, David Rudeman. Rudeman about 4.2 seconds behind Matthews. As Adams once again starts to pull away from Jeff Matthews as they come out of turn number 4. At the line, Kevin Adams has a 1, or not even a 1 second. He has a 0.96 second advantage over Jeff Matthews as Matthews closes in on him again coming out of turn number 2. Adams slides high in turns 3 and 4. He's got lap traffic in front of him. Here comes Matthews, slides up out of turn number 4, trying to gain some ground, and it looks like the 1M of Kurt Myers having some problems. And Myers going to keep on going. Adams goes around Goff. Goff was starting in that 6th position. Goff was one of the top 6 tonight. Now Goff finds himself a lap down here in just a few short moments. Now Goff goes a lap down after starting in the 6th position. 3 wide as they go down to turn number 2. Kurt Myers splits the 2 of Buzzy Rudeman and David Dixon. Dixon to the high side. Kurt Myers now splits them. Your leader in turn number 4. Here comes Jeff Matthews. Matthews starting to fade a little bit as they come out of turn number 4. Matthews with a 1.881 deficit behind Adams. As Rudeman now makes his way out of turn number 2. Rudeman almost 5 seconds back behind your leader.
Heavy lap traffic for the leader.
Adams going to start to come up on the heavy lap traffic as they go down the backstretch into turn number 3. He's got Kraus, Williamson, and Dixon right in front of him. Kevin Adams continues to run the high side, trying to pick a line to get around the lap cars as he makes his way down the backstretch. Kraus right on the back bumper of Dixon. He slides up. Dixon slides up as well. Adams had to get on the binders there. Here comes Matthews. Matthews gained some advantage as they come down the front straightaway as Adams had to get on the binders in the front straightaway. Adams now out of turn number 2. Matthews gets around Brian Bernhardt, and he comes up on the 41 of Goff. This time by, they'll have 15 laps. Next time by, it'll be lap 60, 15 to go. And the 2 of Devin Dixon slowing down over there in turn number 2. Problems for the Apollo Beach driver on the back straightaway. As it continues slow on the high side of the track, we'll see if the caution is thrown. Here comes Matthews. Matthews starting to get behind the 40 machine. And now the caution comes out. Caution comes out for the 2 of Dixon. Here we go. Green flag. We're back underway. Kenny Wallace sliding back. As you talk, Kim, it could be an advantage. It could be a disadvantage. But Kenny Wallace sliding back. Meanwhile, up front, it's Matthews and Adams battling side by side. Here they come out of turn number 4. This time by, it's going to be Matthews leading 61. Matthews leading lap 61. Adams to the high side. Van Genderen sitting third. Lucas Lee fourth, followed by Ray Bollinger and David Rudiman. Rudiman slides back, but here comes the Herminator. Kenny Wallace trying to move back up towards the front spot at the line. Kenny is currently shown in the 7th spot. Meanwhile, he's back out front. It is the 30. Jeff Matthews, Kevin Adams, Mike Van Genderen, teammates Ray Bollinger and Lucas Lee. They're on the move. Rudiman back there in 6th, followed by Wallace. Maverick Varnador's got his hands full with the 1M of Kurt Myers. Teammates battling for 4th and 5th down the backstretch. They got Mike Van Genderen in front of them. Rudiman still behind them, hanging on to that 6th spot. Meanwhile, your leader crosses the start-finish line into 1. That's Jeff Matthews. Matthews into 33, holding on to that top spot. Kevin Adams trying to reel him in lap after lap. This time by, they're going to have a 9 to go. 9 in to go. Lap 66. Jeff Matthews hitting his marks through turns 3 and 4. This time by, he's going to have 8 laps. Kevin Adams hanging on to 2nd. Van Genderen in 3rd. Chad Williamson up against the wall, still hangs on. Lap 68 in the books. Matthews gets that car pointed in the right direction coming out of turn number 4. He's hanging on to a 1.6 second lead over Kevin Adams. This time by, it's going to be 5 laps remaining. 5 to go. 5 to go for Matthews. Jeff Matthews running his line. Hits his mark each and every time around, but Kevin Adams looks like he's starting to gain a little bit. He's now 0.86 seconds behind him. Kevin Adams getting that foot. He's got that pedal to the metal there as they go down the backstretch into 3. Watch Adams starting to gain through him on lap 3, through 3 and 4. Adams starting to chase Matthews down on the front stretch. Adams shoots to the low side. Matthews slams the door down the backstretch. They'll go. Matthews losing a little bit of grip out of turn number 2. Matthews, Adams up into 3. Adams doing everything he can to try and reel in the 33 of Matthews. Matthews holding him off this time by 0.453 seconds ago. There they are side by side out of turn number 2. Matthews with the advantage. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're holding on to your seat. Here they go. Last lap attempt. Will Adams get by him? He's got the lap car in front of him. White flag one more time. Adams slides up. Here comes Matthews. Down the backstretch. It's Matthews. Adams. Watch him come through. Here comes Adams to the low side. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Jeff Matthews with the win. Ladies and gentlemen, it couldn't get any more exciting than that. Ladies and gentlemen, he is from Apollo Beach. He won last night. Let's give him a big round of applause. Still got to go through tech, though. He is your 2017 Sunshine State Mod Tour winner on night number 4, Jeff Matthews.
Championship night of the Sunshine State Modified Tour here at East Bay Raceway Park. We'll get this driver to come climbing out of his race car here in just a second. He's got a lot of crew down here. Ladies and gentlemen, he's out, your champion, Jeff Matthews. All right, Jeff Matthews, come on over here. Hey, Jeff, come on over here. Let's do this. It was lucky to you last night. Grab that OJ and rehydrate yourself real quick. Our Sunshine State Modified Tour official drink of champions. We'll get him rehydrated here. We've got a couple bags of oranges down here. We've got some orange juice. We've got a checkered flag. We've got an East Bay feature winner. But the main thing is that $5,000 check right there. Let's talk about your weekend. I asked you last night in Victory Lane, when's the last time you won a race at East Bay? And you said, I don't know, a year or two ago. I look back, and the only time you've ever won during the Winter Nationals was 2010. 2010 in February here. You've certainly won races here in the regular season since. But 2010 to 2017 has been a long dry spell. This has to feel really, really good.
Yeah, man, you know, like I said, I got to thank all these guys, man. If it wasn't for these guys, they work on this car all day, all afternoon, all night. We steadily keep tuning on it. But this is one bad hot rod we got right here right now. I got to call Strimmy and let him know.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's talk about the race, though. Of course, you set a pace, got out front, looked really good, came to the fuel stop. Buzzy went screaming on by. Were you checking different grooves or just kind of waiting for your fuel to settle back in, or what took you a little while to get back to him?
Yeah, you know, the first few laps here, I didn't even plan on going to the lead, but it was just rolling through the middle of the racetrack so good. So I got up there, you know, I said, well, I'm up here in clean air. Clean air is better than anything anyway. So, and Buzz went by me, and I was like, oh, man. And I didn't think I had nothing there for him there for a little bit. So then I started moving around and changing lanes and found somewhere where I was a little quicker and can run him back down. And he did a slide job on me, and I did a slide job. We had some good racing. That's great to have race guys like that.
Boy, no doubt about it. Those last couple of laps, I tell you what, we had a great crowd here tonight, and they were all on their feet those last couple of laps. You guys put on a hell of a show.
Yeah, hey, he's a good racer, man. He's the best of the best, and I feel privileged to, you know, get to race with some guys like that.
You know, talk about what this means to you, though. Racing at your home racetrack, winning a race like this, like we've talked about all week, some of the best guys in the country are here. They come to your home turf, and you get to defend it. You know that Devin Dixon's the only guy that's ever won on championship night that's a regular here. Now your name's on that list.
Yeah, I know. Devin, he's one of the best. You know, he drives one of my late models when we have it, and, you know, here to race. And he's won this thing. I think he's won it twice, hasn't he? Yeah, he's won it 2 times. But yeah, hey, I'm overwhelmed right now, to be honest with you, because we come in here, you know, hoping just to shake these new lethal cars down and go to Volusia, you know, and get a feel for them. And never believed it right out of the box it'd be this fast.
I'd say you're pretty good, ready for Volusia.
Yes, sir.
There it is. Give him a hand. Your champion, Jeff Matthews in 33.